Wednesday.
This television reporter wanted to do an interview with me about the meteor shower. The Perry White?
The two who are closest to Clark Kent will put a hero's identity at risk.
This is incredible.
It's also all true.
That's it, you're leaving.
Until I have my story.
All new Smallville next Wednesday.
This is awesome.
Oh, Clark, hey. Good to see you among the living, man. Check it out. It's the latest talent mix.
Thanks, Pete.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Talon Mix. It's a Smallville recap podcast, the number one Smallville recap podcast for people who don't watch the television show Smallville, with me, Brian, and Zach. How you doing, man?
It's good to see you among the living, Brian, although no one else is going to see us among the living.
It'll be good for them to hear us among the living.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This is what's I guess kind of a new deal. We're still doing the show live Sunday nights, twitch.tv/Goblin Voice, unless we ever can't. In which case, it'll just be an audio version.
I mean, it's probably better than doing the sad, like, Dead on Arrival Monday show.
The Monday shows were the single, like, the worst vibes, the most, like, obligated, like.
Yes. I'm tired. So, how's it going since I saw you last? It's been a day.
It's been about a day and a half since we last did it. Doing pretty good. Have you had time to, like, watch anything?
I watched the American classic Dirty Harry.
Oh, I've never seen it in its entirety.
Oh, really?
I feel like I've caught the majority of it on TV over the years, but never together in one sitting.
There are 5 Dirty Harry movies, so maybe I don't know if it was.
That's a great point.
Dirty Harry was one of my favorite movies. I mean, not favorite, but I love that movie. I still love it, even though it is what's a good. Thematically dubious.
Sure. Especially in the year of our Lord 2022.
Yes. But if you are mature enough and adult enough to experience things that are thematically dubious and still find joy in them where it exists, then I would recommend Dirty Harry. It's an incredibly well made,
right,
beautifully shot movie.
I need to see it. I really don't have an excuse.
It's got Clint Eastwood at the height of his abilities, but it's like disgusting thematically.
Right. So my grandfather is a big Clint Eastwood fan, and he had this condo on the beach, and it was kind of a drag going there, right? Because like all he had was a row of fucking Clint Eastwood films on VHS, and like we'd have to watch them. And now we're not talking. This ain't Unforgiven. This ain't Dirty Harry. I'm talking Every Which Way But Loose, which is Clint Eastwood with a monkey.
Great.
Not generally, as an adult, I've learned not one of his better received ones. Not a more renowned one.
He's made like 700 movies.
Yes,
so there are going to be some stinkers in there.
And I think that's what he had. It's I did see. That's the only reason I would have seen Hang 'Em High, though, which I didn't appreciate at the time. At the time, I thought it was kind of fucking boring, but like, it's pretty good.
I've never seen Hang 'Em High.
I don't remember much of it. Except the whole thing is that Clint Eastwood, it's a Western. Clint Eastwood gets hung, but he survives and he comes back for vengeance. And, he's like, hey, the whole big line is, when you hang a man, and he pulls down his collar, revealing like the scar, the red around his neck, make sure he's dead.
Yes. Brian, have you ever seen... Oh, go ahead.
It's just like, hell yeah, it rules.
Have you ever seen the Man with No Name movies?
That's like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, Fistful of Dollars.
I've seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Okay. And I think I tried to watch Fistful of Dollars at some point. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, I certainly appreciate on an academic level. I've lied about like loving it more than I actually do. It is a very long movie where not a lot happens.
It's definitely a vibes movie. It's got that great score.
Yeah.
Fistful of Dollars has this amazing sequence where Clint Eastwood is walking through town, or he's riding through town on a mule, and some like local idiots like shoot at his mule, and the mule runs off. And anyway, Clint Eastwood comes back and has like a big showdown with these guys, and they're like, "Go get your mule," and they all laugh. And then Clint Eastwood says, "I don't think it's nice, you laughing. You see, my mule gets to think you're laughing at him. Now, if you apologize, like I know you're going to," and then he just ends up shooting them. It's fucking amazing. Look, Google at least Fistful of Dollars mule.
Yeah, hell yeah. I should revisit those as an adult. It's been a while since I've actually tried to watch them in earnest. Hell yeah. My wife and I watched Before Sunrise and Before Sunset the other day, which Emily had not seen before Sunset. These are, of course, the Richard Linklater, Ethan Hawke, Julie Delpy, falling in love and walking around European cities and talking a whole lot. I have nothing interesting to say about them. They hold up. I think they're very good.
Are you going to watch the third one?
Yes. We just haven't gotten around to it.
I've only ever seen Before Sunset.
Oh, really? The second one?
Yeah.
That's funny. Each of them do hold up on their own, right? Like they are individual pieces. Do you have any thoughts on it? Like, I
haven't seen it since it first came out on DVD. I think I was working at Blockbuster at the time, and I just had to free whatever, and it got good reviews. I liked it at the time.
Yeah.
I think at the time the original was not easily available, at least not to me.
It is a smaller movie.
Right. So I wanted to watch the first one after that, but I could never find it. And then when I finally could, it was like years later, and I had already forgot what happened in the second one. So
it's for Christmas last year, Emily got me the Criterion Blu-ray like trilogy, which they're beautiful masters of them. They look gorgeous. And it's just shots of European streets, right? Like, right. I mean, they look fantastic. But it's the first movie is all about being 20-something, kind of douchey, and just falling hard and fast. It's Ethan Hawke describes the first movie as like what could be. The second movie is what could have been, and then the third movie is the reality of taking this like very whirlwind romance, and it settles it down from 20s to 30s to we've been together for a while, and like there's some reality here.
I've heard the third one is a little bit more of a bummer. I think so. I love all three. And no, not bad. Not bad.
It gets into the realities of they are not 20-something walking around a European city having just met on a train.
Right.
They have been living together for a while and they have arguments. And like I think the crux of a movie is a fight. And when I saw it for the first time, there was a little bit of an element of like, no, I just liked it when you were making googly eyes at each other.
Yeah.
But the movie is about like, no, we did that. We're done with that. They're
That's
cool.
I need to watch those movies.
I do think you would really like them. I think they hold, they were, the first movie especially was made by 20-something Gen Xers who I think were smelling their own shit a little bit, enjoying the smell of their own. It's a lot of like Ethan Hawke pseudo-intellectual, like like the character's kind of a douchebag, but it still holds up in like, yeah, this young 20-something walking around Europe would be kind of a douchebag,
right? Yeah, for sure.
It's as much as like as eye rolly as some of it is, it's nothing I wouldn't have done at 20.
No, I need to see. It's a blind spot in my movie
I haven't seen a lot of Linklater. I gotta say, I have a smattering of Linklater.
As long as you've seen Dazed and Confused.
That's one of the big blind spots. Zach has just moved back from. I haven't seen Slacker. I haven't seen Dazed and Confused. I've seen School of Rock.
Okay, no, School of Rock is great. Okay, Brian, I need you to listen very carefully.
Yeah.
I know I've done this a few times on this show and in our relationship where I'm like, oh, drop what you're doing and watch this movie.
I know.
This is by far the most drop what you're doing and watch the fucking movie.
Especially like watching these, rewatching them before. I'm like, I really don't have any excuse. I'm actually going to get, because it's also got a Criterion. I'm going to get Slacker and Dazed and Confused on Criterion.
I've never seen Slacker, but Dazed and Confused is a 5-star fucking movie. It's fucking fantastic, Brian.
There's no reason why I've seen Waking Life and not Dazed and Confused.
No, yeah, I've seen Waking Life.
That one's a rough one.
Especially, you love vibes movies. This is the hangout vibes movie, baby.
There's no excuse. No, there's no excuse.
Oh, you're going to love it. I'm so excited for you to watch this. Also, if you like that, not as good, but still quite good. Did you see Everybody Wants Some?
I didn't, no. I meant to, and I never got around to it.
Yeah, it's a very similar style of movie. Very fun. Not as good as Dazed and Confused, but few films are.
That's my understanding. It's really a classic that it's a real blind spot.
It's so good. You got to watch it.
Yeah.
School of Rock is great though.
I'm not bashing it. No, it's certainly a one for them, but it's good. It's a good movie. I got no problems with it.
Good one for them. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a good studio comedy.
If the Oscars rewarded comedic performances, or like Jack Black would have won for School of Rock.
Yeah.
I also think Ace Ventura, like Jim Carrey would have won for that. Just like a movie where one dude carries the entire movie.
Yeah, the vehicle. The best vehicle driver.
Yeah.
What happened to the vehicle? Like just the movie that kind of it's the vehicle comes of course from we have Jack Black. And what do we want to do something for Jack Black? What do we have for Jack Black? He's kind of a musician, so like let's do like
it's basically like let's come up with a plot to show off this person's comedy chop.
And we don't see that kind of thing anymore.
No. I mean, it's just movie stars in general.
Yeah.
Not as much a thing anymore.
Right. I miss a good one.
Oh yeah, no, that's some of my favorite movies. I guess Adam Sandler's still turning him out.
I guess that's true. And man, that deal, because he's got, of course, this crazy deal with Netflix, and like that man just gets to fucking.
Dude, I guarantee he's probably got the most watched shit on that.
Oh, without a doubt. He did make a joke after, because of course the fact that he wasn't up for Uncut Gems is so shocking to me.
Right.
Uncut Gems got nothing, I think.
That just who gives a fuck about the Oscars?
I know.
Uncut Gems was maybe the best movie of that year.
Parasite came out that year, but
oh shit, I forgot. That was like a year of a lot of really good movies.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
But Uncut Gems was up there.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What a great year for fucking
really
movie.
Good year.
Oh, and that was right before the pandemic. That was the end of movies. So that was like he ended on a high note.
Right. But the fact that Uncut Gems got nothing.
Yeah.
Buck wild.
I mean, it's probably because it like is one of the most stressful movies.
It's
for me.
There is a couple of friends of mine have noted it and had a similar experience of like there is a weird like generation gap with it of like I showed it to my parents who were my dad like kind of liked it. My mom was like, no, this is not no, thank you. Because it's grimy and weird and like stressful.
Right. Right. Oh no, and there is a big chunk of the population who does not want to see a movie that will make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
I don't get it, but yeah.
Right. And obviously there are different kinds of discomfort, but one of the more mainstream ones and one of the ones that I love is suspense.
Yes.
But there are people still who are like, oh no, thank you. I don't want that even for a second. So,
that movie is just the up parts of a roller coaster.
Oh man. I saw that with my younger brother and sister. And my brother at the time, I think he was 17, and my sister was 14. And we're like in the climax of the movie when like they're watching the Celtics game, like it's just, and he keeps upping the ante. Like he gets out of one and he just adds another problem. I look over, like I'm sitting here like this, and I look over and my brother's like wiping sweat, like he's like leaned this far forward. And then I look past him to my sister and she's asleep. No,
incredible.
Yeah, just not into it. But me and my brother were like, oh, dying.
We
that was one of those movies where I'm audibly making noises, like no.
It's we went to the because my wife is fancy. We got invited to the New York premiere of it, and Sandler was there. Kevin Garnett was there.
Wow, cool.
I took a piss next to Joel Edgerton.
Oh, hey, all right.
But it was the exact same, like the whole theater just
Oh, that's great. It's my dream to make a movie that makes people do that.
Truly.
Ooh.
Man. Okay, we obviously have to have a Mission Impossible section. We'll have a Top Gun section.
Well, Brian, you know what they're not talking about on Talkville? Before Sunset, Before Sunrise, Before Midnight, Dazed and Confused, Uncut Gems.
If they talk about those movies one time, I will do nothing because it could come up, and I don't want to take responsibility for that. There's like 10 seasons of this show.
Opposition research, Brian. They're listening to you, so they will purposely bring it up just to fuck with you.
Right,
yeah.
right.
We know you're watching and listening.
We know you're watching and listening.
I know you'll never admit it, but
so they gotta. Maybe they're enjoying it. I hope they are enjoying it.
No, I'm sure when they finally release their show, I keep waiting for it. I'm going to enjoy it.
I know. I'm going to listen to it. It's going to be great. It's not going to stop me from haunting their voicemails like a terrible poltergeist. Do you know what?
Brian, did you press record?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes,
Okay.
I did. Did I triple check 3 times? Yeah. Should we get on to Smallville?
I guess it's
time.
At some point we should probably start talking about Smallville.
This week we covered Perry. We're of course reading directly from smallville.fandom.com. Thank you, Smallville wiki writers, for basically scripting our podcast for us. Pull it up and follow along for yourself. Perry is the 5th episode of the 3rd season of Smallville and the 49th episode overall. It aired on October 29th, 2003. Perry, of course, is, and we'll obviously get into it, but Perry White is a famous piece of Superman legend.
Yeah, I was wondering. I can't remember. Is this the first major Superman character that has been on the show aside from the original cast?
I guess so, right?
Yeah, I don't think we've had another major Superman comics character other than the people who were in the first episode.
Have we heard there is I guess spoilers for Smallville, but has there been casual mention of Jimmy Olsen yet?
No,
Chloe has like a fling over the summer with.
I think that's season 4. We hear about Jimmy Olsen.
Got it.
Or
his twin is on the show.
Yes, his twin was a freak of the week. Yes.
Right. But I guess this is, and season 3. That's pretty like, as much as like we love to like give Smallville shit for being like that's gonna be Superman. It's like that the restraint to not bring a character in sooner.
Well, you've talked about how they're partly embarrassed that they're Superman.
Right, that's true. Right.
But. Yeah, and we'll talk about the great Michael McKean.
Yes.
When we get into it.
So, a comet hits the sun, causing the largest solar flare ever recorded. Clark is on his way to meet Pete at the Talon when he abruptly runs out of super speed in the middle of the road. The way they phrase it that way, he runs out of super speed.
Clark is a video game.
Right. The way his powers, like Superman's powers, don't like were kind of have never really made sense to me. But so he's just a normal guy all the rest of the time.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I know he's powered by the sun, but I kind of thought like that was just his thing. Like he just is strong. No, it's like a power.
Don't pull at that thread, Brian.
I know. It's not worth it. So a car driven by the perpetually drunk Perry White careens to miss him and hits a utility pole. Perry White, of course, is McKean, who is, did you know this, Annette O'Toole's husband?
I did.
That's funny. Annette O'Toole, of course, is Martha Kent.
Michael McKean, what else has he been in? He's like one of those guys you're like, oh, I've seen.
He's a character. I actually have his, he was in This Is Spinal Tap.
Yes.
That's like the first like referenced one.
He's in Clue.
He's in
Did you ever
Clue.
see the movie Clue?
Yes, I've seen Clue.
Mr. Green in Clue.
Yes, my wife loves Clue. I'm not as big into it. I don't have a lot of affection for it.
I loved it growing up. It was one of my favorites. I watched it a few years ago and it didn't do anything for me. But...
Yeah. Let's see. He's also in. He's in the show. I'm just looking at his IMDb. He's in the show Billions. He's in Better Call Saul. He's Saul's brother in the Breaking Bad spinoff. But yeah, character actor.
You know what he's in? That is his biggest, best performance. Short Circuit 2. I'm not. You think I'm joking?
I've never seen it.
Oh, Brian. The original Short Circuit, I don't think I've ever seen, or I don't remember it. It's not supposed to be very good, but I've seen Short Circuit 2 300 times. It was one of my favorite movies growing up, and I actually have seen it in the last few years, and it mostly holds up. It's a fun kids movie, but an 80s kids movie where it's like there's a lot of adult shit in there.
Okay, because we've talked about this before, but like here might be a fun. I'm assuming like you kind of know Short Circuit 2 like by memory, by having seen it as a kid. Mm-hmm. That's me with the original Ninja Turtles movie. And I think if I watch Short Circuit 2, you watch Ninja Turtles, and just kind of like I've seen Ninja Turtles so many times that like I can't even view it objectively. I just like it, you know?
Yeah. But I think that's a great thing that we should do. But I will let you know I have seen the original Ninja Turtles a lot of times too.
Okay. Maybe there's a better one, yeah.
I mean, that was Ninja Turtles were the biggest thing when I was a kid too. But I would love to watch it. I haven't seen it for a few years.
I always think it's an interesting one. I've talked about it before. I think it's a pretty good movie. Not a great movie. Just like they put an effort in when they didn't have to.
Right. I think that was pretty much Roger Ebert's review of it.
Yeah, his negative review of it was like, what he said of it holds true. There hasn't been a better Ninja Turtles movie.
No, he was like, I think it was basically like this movie is better than it has any right to be.
Right. It was like, he basically, I can't imagine a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie being any better. But man, Ninja Turtles rule.
That's a great comparison, though. It's about that level of quality.
Okay. Yeah. They tried. There's stuff too. They tried.
I mean, the Michael McKean is the best part of Short Circuit 2. That's for sure.
Hell yeah.
He brings it.
So Clark uses his super speed and super strength to rip the car door off and pull Perry to safety. I think that gets what
we open with Perry drinking at a bar, and he's really drunk, like clearly performing it as very drunk. And then the director of this episode, whoever it is worried we're not going to get that, so they switch to a POV shot of him, and it's blurred, like just blurred, looking at the bartender.
Right. It's we have wiki writer, someone has clearly added the next paragraph begins with Perry had just been thrown out of the Wild Coyote.
Yes.
But I think that gets us to
yes. People can't see us bobbing our heads in the audio version, but we were.
Okay, so back at the farm, Clark is driving fence posts when he misjudges his strength and drives one almost completely into the ground. Cannot stress enough that this farm does not run without a one-man staff.
Absolutely not. Even with one man who can do the work of 100, they're still struggling every day. The wiki just really brushed past like the car crash. There's a car crash first.
Oh, right. Shit. Yeah.
So Clark is running, super speeding, and then he stops suddenly because he runs out. And then Michael McKean, who's drunk driving, sees him at the last second, veers out of the way into a telephone pole. Clark rushes over, tears the door off, even though it doesn't look like he has to. Right. I think he could have just opened that door. Tears the door off, and then instead of setting it down, he hurls it 400 feet away.
Though there is a thing about like how he's kind of out of control of his powers, right?
Oh, that's true, yeah.
I don't know if that has to do with it.
Yeah, they didn't make that clear, but that's a good point.
Okay, so Clark's driving fence posts. He drives one into the ground. Perry approaches and tells them it was somehow Clark's fault that he swerved and crashed his car. He threatens to sue the Kents unless Clark takes him around town to help him investigate the meteor shower and its strange effects. Yes, Zach.
This is the laziest writing of this episode.
Super, and it's actually not a bad episode, but yeah.
No, but this is so awful because the scene starts out basically by Perry White talking about how drunk he was. He got his car taken away, his license taken away. He's got a DUI for what happened. He was driving drunk.
Right.
His blood alcohol content was off the charts. I don't know if it was a 2.0.
A 2.0.
And then he says, let's talk about a settlement because Clark is at fault. And he uses this as like blackmail
right.
Clark into showing him around town. And Johnny K and Clark are like, oh no, we have to do what he says or Clark will get in trouble. The guy was hammered.
Right.
You are not under any obligation to do anything for this guy.
No.
Very lazy writing. Like the writers can't come up with another reason for him to show him around town.
That seems to be the case.
Yeah.
So he threatens.
Also, Perry White works for a cable TV show about paranormal stuff called X-Files.
Does the X-Files exist in the Smallville universe?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So X-Styles is in universe a riff on X-Files.
Yes. But it sounds like a extreme sports show.
It does. Like X-Styles.
Something on MTV.
Anything else?
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, good. Okay. He threatens to sue the Kents unless Clark takes him around town to help him investigate the meteor shower and its strange effects. Clark takes Perry to the Talon, where Perry callously asks Lana for an interview about the day of the meteor shower. He
throws down that Time magazine cover with the little girl who played Lana in the pilot. And we've talked about this, but I think it was season 1, so no one else heard it. How much that little girl looks like fucking Kristen Crook.
It does.
Is insane.
They have to be related. They have to be. That's a thing. Sometimes you'll find like a little cousin or something.
But I think that's just like great job, Smallville.
Great job. Okay, Lana is offended and asks them both to leave. Clark kind of takes a little heat for you're with this guy.
But that's again like they're doing Lana dirty because Clark is like immediately like, get the fuck out of here, like leave her alone.
Right.
And then she's like, Clark, I can't believe you're with this guy. You should both
Can't
leave.
believe you're physically standing next to this guy. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah.
What do you mean with this guy? Like,
it's imagine if I was like, Zach, some guy's looking for you. And you went and talked to him and he said something shitty. I was like, hey, why'd you say he was looking for me?
Yeah, why are you with this guy, Brian? Get out of here, friend. Get out of here, good friend for many years. I will not
no
hear
benefit
any
of the doubt. Just the part, it's a teen drama thing. It's not exclusive to Smallville, but like these character relations are absolutely required for everyone to take everything in the worst faith possible.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and do no digging.
Right.
I mean, Lost, as you know, one of my favorite shows of all time. I even love the ending. But show that does not exist without characters refusing to ask each other deeper questions.
Right.
Like bad communication, really important part.
Really important. Okay. Lana asks Clark and Perry to both leave. Perry asks Clark to take him to meet the editor of The Torch, which has a reputation among the bug-eyed monster circles. Once again, it is a school newspaper. How is this getting distributed anywhere other than a high school?
The internet, Brian. The internet.
Find any high school's newspaper.
I'm worried I'm going to get flagged if I try to do that.
Not worth
you know
it.
What I mean?
Not worth it. Chloe is eager to talk about her wall of weird until she learns that Perry works for X Styles. He interests her.
You created a theme.
There we go.
Opening theme for X Styles.
That's free, X Styles. You can have it. Her interest is renewed when she realizes that he is Perry White, multiple Pulitzer-nominated journalist extraordinaire. So he is a real journalist that's been slumming it for X Styles. I'm not going to do it again. My throat.
Oh, you built it up.
Yeah. It's hard to tell. It's like, has it been too many beats?
Yeah, right.
Should you do it again? Has it been too many? Should we move on from the bit?
The answer is always do it again.
Wonderful.
At least on this show. Torture comedy. That's what we're here for.
Lex is finishing his last session with Dr. Claire Foster, talking about the art in the castle and claiming that he has no emotional issues. Are we referring to the Luther Mansion as the castle?
Yes. Yeah, we are. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Wiki. Lana arrives and asks Lex to do something to prevent Perry from interviewing or videotaping her. Lex says he'll make sure he doesn't bother her again. Perry was supposed to go back to the hotel, but Clark finds him back at the Wild Coyote. Once again, a real bar in Vancouver that I don't think is standing anymore. A lot of people getting that serves minors and overserves.
Okay, we got to talk about this Lex scene.
Yes.
With Lana. The scene begins with Lex. He's like meditating. He's got his eyes closed. He's listening to ocean sounds. And Lana reaches out and grabs him from off camera to get his attention. And of course he freaks out. It's like, Lana, how about like, hey, Lex? Lex? There's other ways to snap someone out of a trance.
Right. Hi, Lex. It's your high schooler friend. Here it
And I don't know why, but I love Lex in this scene.
That's good.
And it's we're kind of leaning into the Lex Lana thing a little here.
It shows up earlier than I would have guessed.
Which is icky.
Super.
It's not like overt yet. It's just like she comes to Lex and I love his little line. He's like, I'm surprised you didn't go to Clark with this. And she goes, Clark's with him. Again.
Worst
and Lex isn't like, hey, what does that mean? Clark's with him.
Yeah, we hate that guy.
Yeah. Also, I'm surprised you didn't go to Clark with this. What was Clark going to do to this guy?
Right.
Hey, get out of town.
Hey. Okay, so Clark finds Perry at the Wild Coyote. He asks what happened to his career, but they are interrupted by Lex. Perry promises Lex that he is not doing a story on Lionel, but Lex says he doesn't have anything to do with that and takes him to the bus stop. Lex hates Perry for approaching him at boarding school, scrounging for dirt on his father.
Amazing, and I'm not being sarcastic, shot of Lex entering the bar.
I think I missed it.
Oh,
or I don't remember it.
You should actually go back and watch it. It's like the bar door opens and they're in a dark, dive bar
that has let minor Clark Kent in.
Yes, the Clark and Perry are standing there, and in between them, the door opens, and it's just like the light outside is so much brighter, and you just see Lex or his silhouette step into the doorway.
Oh, good shit, Smallville.
I also like when he drives Perry to the bus stop, and he pulls out Perry's luggage, and Perry reaches like he's gonna hand it to him, and Lex just tosses it on the ground.
Good shit.
It's good. It's good.
Thinking Perry has left Smallville, Clark returns home and helps his dad lift up the tractor. At first, Clark doesn't seem to have any strength. Then, to his and Jonathan's shock, he throws the tractor clear over his head. Do we mark it now or do we wait?
Yes.
Because that if you go to the Smallville wiki yourself, you can see a screen cap here, and that tractor ain't coming down easy.
Yes, Brian, this is we're about to enter into an existential discussion about this podcast. You might need to get Emily. Is it possible that this counts as both broken farm equipment and a car crash?
If we are asking, does this tractor count as a car? I would say no.
You can drive a tractor on the road.
Fuck.
But like not on the highway.
Yeah. Well, the next day, I was talking about how we've been watching, my wife and I have been watching through David Lynch. We have The Straight Story next, which is about literally that.
Yeah, isn't that a Disney movie?
Yeah. His only G-rated movie.
He drives a tractor across the country in that one. Right.
I've never seen it, but I didn't even know it existed until until this. No car gets crushed, right?
No, not in this shot. It's just the tractor. But like if a motorcycle got destroyed, I think we would count that, right?
Oh, great point. I was out and you pulled me back in.
we would count a motorcycle. We would count probably. I mean, let's have that discussion right now because this is really important.
Should I go get Emily and make her the arbiter?
I think absolutely is absolutely yes.
Okay, we're back. Zach, could you phrase the problem we were having? Emily's here behind me. Can you pose the problem?
First of all, hi, Emily.
Hello.
Good to see you.
You too.
I can't wait for you to come on again. We're doing the 3rd season now, so now you have to do another episode.
Yeah, make it a good one.
We're going to pick a really good one. Okay. There's a scene in this episode where Clark accidentally throws a tractor like a mile and it lands and it gets destroyed. We are trying to decide if this counts as a car destruction. Keep in mind, if we've had, semi trucks, vans, trucks, cars all get destroyed and those count. I believe a motorcycle would count if we had
I think we've agreed a motorcycle. I believe the precedent is set for a motorcycle.
So the argument for a tractor counting is that you can drive a tractor on the road. You probably take a tractor to the mechanic. I don't know.
My main question was going to be, is it legal to drive a tractor on a road? And I think if that is the case, then it counts.
Okay, well, let's better Google it to make sure that I think it's legal.
Yeah, if you don't mind Googling that real fast.
To drive a tractor on the road.
I've certainly seen my cousins drive their tractors on the road, but I don't know if it's legal.
It says, driving a tractor on a highway is a legal and often necessary part of harvest.
All right.
But
if it is all right, fuck.
Great. Emily, thank you so much for helping us.
You're very welcome. I'm going to go back to bed now.
I fully woke her up out of an actual sleep.
Stop. No, you did not.
I wasn't asleep, but I was in bed.
Okay, I was going to say, because you're smiling and you're happy. And if someone woke me up from sleep to come on a podcast, I wouldn't be smiling. That's
I wasn't
for sure.
asleep, but I was on the way there.
Goodbye, Emily.
Goodbye.
I'm sorry. Bye. I'm so glad we have that resource available.
It's really important. Honestly, the show doesn't work without it.
No. Okay, so that's a twofer. That's a farm equipment and a car wreck.
Wow. Big deal. Big day.
We're already halfway to the season 2 car wreck mark.
Man, we're 5 episodes in.
5 for 5.
Wow.
So this is not quite season 1 levels, but
there's quite a bit. It's quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2 really calmed down on it, but we're picking up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So said tractor/car lands several miles away in front of Perry White at the bus stop. Clark super speeds towards it, and Perry looks on in wonder. Clark and Jonathan try to cover it by saying it fell off a flatbed truck while someone was trying to steal it. But Perry maintains that it fell out of the sky.
Great gaslighting by Johnny K. Like,
yeah, I wonder where Clark gets it.
I mean, that's a good lie to come up with. That's like a great...
Yeah, makes sense. And no one's going to believe the drunkard that it fell out of the sky.
Yeah.
You're hearing two stories on the road. Which one are you going to believe?
Yeah, right. Yep.
The sheriff knows he's a drunk and doesn't pay him any attention. Instead of leaving town, Perry visits Chloe at the Torch to study her wall of weird. Chloe offers to help him find what he's been looking for because he used to be the kind of journalist she wants to be. He insinuates that he had a great story about Lionel Luthor, but he was prevented from writing it. He also admits to being intrigued by Clark.
Who isn't?
Okay. Clark and Jonathan guess Clark's problems having something to do with the solar flares.
That's Wiki. You're brushing over that. There's a scene where they're talking about it. The scene, we should have kept track of scenes that open with Johnny K being skeptical about a theory that is obviously correct.
A real octagon moment.
Yes, an octagon moment. We'll call it an octagon moment from now on. Yeah. I don't know, Clark. This is quite a leap. It like opens up. It's just...
Much like the tall buildings in a single bound, your son can leap. Here's a question. And like, we haven't... we might need to get Emily back in here. We're establishing a piece of Superman lore. That's not necessarily a Nietzsche line. No. So like the learning that the sun is powering him doesn't count because that's just lore.
No, it would have to be like some pun about the sun,
right,
and power and something terrible,
right. Yeah. You're right. It has to be. He's going to be Superman, not like he's Superman. This is the Superman.
Yes,
thing.
yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be every single time the title screen Smallville comes up. Okay, Clark and Jonathan guess Clark's problems have something to do with the solar flares, and Pete discovers that they have caused glitches and power surges all over the world. Clark decides to avoid using his powers until the effects from the flares wear off tomorrow. Chloe arrives to warn him that Perry is still investigating and seems particularly interested in Clark. Clark finds Perry in the barnyard. He has researched Clark's hero history in Smallville. Clark hears his mother calling, and as he turns to go, he suddenly super speeds away right in front of Perry. I will say, for as lazy as the writing was up top, I do think this is a fun thing of like, I'm gonna find out about the superhero, and then it was like, no, I'm not gonna do it independently, and so it does create a funny, comedy of errors.
Yeah, no, it's a great setup for an episode.
So Lex is furious when he finds out that Dr. Foster will not sign off on his psychological release, recommending continuing sessions on an indefinite basis. She maintains that he has yet to deal with any of his emotion or physical trauma. Lex seems to know that she is right, but he is still upset and throws her out. Perry goes to Lex with information about Lionel, which he will trade to Lex for anything he knows about Clark. Perry guesses...
The therapist does say to Lex that he's been through, since he moved to Smallville, a lot of emotional and physical trauma. And she is absolutely fucking
She's
right.
nailed it.
Yes. She's like, you've been gaslit by your father and your best friend for
and your child
years.
Best friend? Let's talk more about this high schooler that is your best friend and is
also,
continuously getting one over on you.
According to my notes, you've suffered from 8 concussions.
And oh, by the way, about that high school friend, can we talk about the lab you have dedicated to it?
Yes, the secret room.
Yeah, no, I'm going to recommend a couple more sessions.
You have a computer that is solely dedicated to showing your like life-threatening car crash on repeat. just like
Yeah.
your near-death experience, just over and over.
Hey, Lex, you're not doing good, bud.
You married a woman who was basically just there to try to kill you and take your money.
You were on an island. She nearly succeeded.
Right, you were on an island talking to yourself.
Hey, Lex.
You might need more than 5 sessions, bud.
So Perry goes to Lex with information about blah, blah, blah. Perry guesses that the only reason Lex made friends with Clark was in order to investigate the mystery surrounding him. Lex reacts violently, threatening Perry if he doesn't stay away. He seems surprised by his own outburst. Trembling, he agrees to extra sessions with Dr. Foster. He got there on his own.
Well, the wiki really condensed. He doesn't agree until the end of the episode.
I guess that's true.
They're just wrapping it up.
Right. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Okay. Clark arrives home by bus that night. He says his speed gave out around Lake Tahoe, 1,000 miles away. He tried to run home, but his speed gave out again around Colorado Springs. He barely had enough money for a bus ticket. I would say if I were a teenager and then suddenly stuck in a different state from where I was, I just live there now.
Well, I wonder, Colorado Springs. Let me see how long it would take to get from Colorado Springs to what's the city in Kansas?
I imagine it's just right
Wichita.
in the goddamn. There you go.
How long does it take to drive from? Oh, okay, 7 hours.
Okay.
28 minutes. So
Okay.
on the bus, it's probably a 10-hour bus ride.
Right. But, a doable.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably just keep walking and then hope my super speed came back again.
It ain't going to come back on the bus.
No.
So he vows to stay home until the flare passes, but Perry has installed a camera crew outside. Clark's heat vision sets the curtains on fire, and he worries that he'll burn the farm down. Uncontrollable boners. That's
Yes, I was going to say an uncontrollable erection. The scenes with his heat vision are so much funnier when you think about that.
Yes. It's ruined Superman for me forever.
He's with Pete in like the kitchen or something, and he's like, "Pete, look out! I'm getting hard on.
It's boner time." Okay.
How awful would it be to be a teenager and have your erections uncontrollable based on some solar flare? Like
they were already uncontrollable.
I know. They already at a moment's notice.
Okay. Jonathan lures Perry away from the farm so Clark and Pete can sneak out. Perry goes back to the Talon, apologizes to Lana, and asks her to take him to the bus stop. Creepy, don't do it. So he does a thing of like, I will stay out of your life if you just take me to the bus stop. Lana goes, I'll get my coat.
Yeah, way too willing to.
It's a red flag. Lana, you, much like Lex, have had a terrible couple of years.
Yeah.
The answer to that is no.
No, I will not give you, grown man who has bothered me at my work, a ride to the middle of nowhere.
And also, and meanwhile, grown man, I am a high schooler. I'm going to the police that you won't leave me alone.
Okay, we skipped over, or they might be getting to it, the plot point where Clark and Pete, who has like 3 scenes in this, it's like a big Pete episode, 3 scenes. Clark and Pete,
everything's coming up, Pete,
are going to drive out, I think, like to the woods to go camping or something, so that he's not around and people can't see. And as they are loading up into the car to leave, we get our biggest yikes of the season and our biggest yikes in a long time, Brian.
I don't remember what this is.
This is Yikes of the Year.
Oh my God.
Material.
What the fuck was it?
So Clark says to Pete, thanks for doing this with me. And Pete replies, you know I'm always up for a little undercover brother.
Oh no. Oh no.
And
It's 2003, that's for damn sure.
you know the white writers came up with that for the only black person on this fucking show to say, you
Yikes.
always know I'm up for a little undercover brother.
Yikes. Oh no.
That's a yikes.
Smallville.
That's a yikes.
That's a yikes.
That's a big yikes.
Oh
Do
man.
you think Sam Jones III is like, I'm not getting paid enough for this?
I mean, he ain't gonna be around much longer. I think. Let me put it. I think it's a pretty mutual decision. I don't think Sam Jones quite got fired.
No, he's like, you're giving me undercover brother references.
Right. I think this guy's good. In some canons of Superman, Pete does become president of the United States.
Oh, well, it's not too late. Smallville, the animated series.
Smallville, the animated series. Let's go.
Let's do it. Get Sam Jones III back.
Running up against Lionel Luthor, or Lex Luthor, who's haunted by the ghost of Lionel Luthor. They should be hiring us as writers.
Unless that line was ad-libbed, which I think there's about a 2% chance.
Right.
I cannot believe someone wrote that.
I know.
In a script and gave it to this poor fucking guy to read on this show.
I don't want to call Talkville about this, but it crossed my mind.
Talkville. What the fuck?
Talkville, we got a Talkville.
Oh, yeah.
Do we open up every call to Talkville with, hey, Talkville, we got to talk?
We got a Talkville.
We got a Talkville. Clark gets a distressed call from Lana at Saunders Gorge, but his speed is still out, so Pete has to drive him. They make it to the view.
Saunders Gorge, of course, in Kansas, located big gorge located in Kansas.
The famous Kansas Gorge.
Yes.
They make it to the viewpoint where Perry is standing out on a ledge. Lana explains that Perry got out of the car and threatened to jump unless she called Clark. Perry jumps to prove that Clark has the power to save him, and Clark dives to catch him. They both fall, but Perry has tied a rope to his ankle. Clark and Perry dangle perilously. Pete throws Clark another rope and hauls him to the car. This is actually a fun scene. There's more here, but this is actually a fun scene of Perry's like, I'm gonna jump, you're gonna save me and prove you have powers, and Clark's just having to be like, I don't, buddy, don't really, no, really don't.
I don't have powers right now.
I got nothing for you, dude. Great
setup, and then some actual stunt work.
I think so. It looks like it.
No, definitely. We're in such a sad CGI state of affairs that I'm getting exhilarated by this Smallville set piece. Also, Clark appears to jump through the railing.
Yeah.
Perry's standing on this railing.
Yeah, good
and
point.
Then he starts to jump, and Clark jumps to grab him, and then it just cuts to both of them falling. I don't know.
Yeah, the logistics maybe don't work there. So Clark and Perry are dangling. Perry's rope breaks, and he grabs Clark.
Also, his flask falls out. It's a great little shot.
Pete successfully pulls the two up, and Perry realizes his error when he sees Clark's bloody hands. The next day, the effects of the flare have faded, and Clark's powers are back to normal. He proves with his neat little trick for his mom. He throws a bale of hay to the upper level of the barn and then super speeds around to catch it. Lana comes by to tell Clark how much she cares about him. Really? Because you just took... This episode did Lana dirty.
Yes. Yes, I care about you. I will not ever think anything good of you. I will think the absolute worst of you at every opportunity. But I care
Every
about
opportunity. Clark takes Perry to the bus stop again, and Perry admits that he feels guilty for tearing down someone who is so considerate of others. Perry says he now has the courage to finish the story he never wrote and is going to try the Daily Planet. He also says he sees a glimmer of hope in Clark's journalism skills, and they part on good terms. Now, this maybe goes into Nietzsche territory, because it does go into like, hey, when you're in Metropolis, look me up.
Yeah, it's borderline.
It's borderline. Yeah. It's not bad. I like it.
No. It's fun stuff.
I don't know. I'll give or take it. If you don't think it is, I'm not.
Well,
we don't
actually keep track of Nietzsche lines.
Oh, we don't? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I guess there's no reason to keep track of it.
But I think it's close enough. Yeah, it's the spirit of it.
Yeah.
And Clark drives into the bus stop in the red pickup, like that got totaled last week.
Right. How many red pickups do they have?
I know. We should have kept track of red pickups that they went through.
So actually, here's a production question. This actually, I would be interested in talking to Talkville about. We got a Talkville. With stunts like that, you see do they just like do a bunch? Like, is there like a car day? Or are they done like week to week, They
got to be week to week because they write these things as they make them,
Yeah, man. Interesting. Then that means they went and they just got a different red car?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I guess so. All right.
Yeah. They're totaling these cars.
Yeah. I guess actually, I guess what makes it I'm realizing the stunt car probably isn't the car they're driving. That like there are stunt pickups and then there's the car they use for action. There's an acting car, quote unquote, and then they find a stunt pickup to wreck.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's the episode. I'd say it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it was fun. I think it's a lot of fun.
It's a fun one.
And you can't again, we've talked about this before, but you can't underestimate the excitement people got when anything from the Superman lore appeared in this show just make you giddy,
because it wasn't like this was not a culture of wait after the credits and there will be a thing from some fucking C tier Marvel character will say a word and everyone will go, oh, that thing.
Right. And I think this probably is the biggest one yet in the show.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm sure people are shooting their wads, shooting their heat vision.
Right.
Over this episode.
And, I like that stuff. I do like it's Superman stuff.
Oh, yeah. Especially in this show, one thing they do really well is they dole that out sparingly.
Yes.
I mean,
surprising restraint. Yeah.
Yeah. Not counting Nietzsche lines, but like the Superman lore stuff.
Right.
And by the end of the show, it's a full-on Superman show, but it's very gradual.
Yeah.
So,
do you think, and we'll obviously talk about it in a couple of years, but do you think they should have just owned it and just made him Superman?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The last, I'd say 3 seasons, he is essentially Superman. The show is basically set in Metropolis. He and Lois are working at the Daily Planet. He's fighting crime. The only thing that is he's not called Superman, and he doesn't have this suit on.
Yeah. Just own it. Just own it.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the music in this episode, dude. It opens. I love this bar by Toby Keith, which I've seen the music video for that several times. It's insane. It dates poorly. Arms Down, the demo version by Zoli Mora. Not familiar with that. We got Blue by Leanne Rimes. Crossroads by Lizzie. I'll Be Okay.
Oh, wrong Crossroads. Bone Thugs. Gotta put the Bone Thugs on here.
I'll Be Okay by Q. And a pretty buck wild Walkin' in Memphis cover by Lone Star.
Yes.
That is what the episode ends on.
Yes. We were so close to a great needle drop.
Yes.
Do you think they couldn't get the original one, or it was just some cool band?
I'm gonna guess that Lone Star, with someone Warner Music, was like, throw this on. Walking in Memphis is such a banger. It's
It
don't get me wrong,
is.
it's too much. Even in this show, it's like, wait, what? No, too much. but also, I'm never mad when it's here.
God, I think, is there a Walking in Memphis needle drop in the X-Files?
I hope so. I'm just looking at some notes here.
Yes, there is. Yes. And it's performed by Cher. Not the actual Cher, but a Cher lookalike.
Got it.
Oh, great.
I got some notes here, some interesting stuff. Perry White mentions that he is a reporter for the TV show X-Files, a parody of the popular television show X-Files. Michael McKean, who portrayed White, appeared on an episode of the X-Files as a Men in Black operative who switched bodies with the show's main character, Fox
Great
Mulder.
episode. Great episode.
I need to watch X-Files. I've tried. It's never really happened for me. No Lionel this episode.
Oh, I mean, it would have been better with Lionel.
It's always better. It's always better.
Can you imagine they would give me one Lionel Michael McKean scene?
Right? Come on. Let's see. This episode introduces Smallville's version of Perry White. In this episode, Perry calls Sheriff Adams Chief, to which she responds, "Don't call me Chief." One of Perry's catchphrases in the comics. That's a Nietzsche line.
Oh, I didn't even.
I definitely didn't catch that, but yes, I see it now.
Clock that. Yes, that is for sure a Nietzsche line. Great.
Perry White and Claire Foster. I wondered this because there was a blue hyperlink on the Claire Foster thing. Are the 11th and 12th DC Comics characters to be adapted to the series? So the psychologist.
Right, but but not major.
No.
And I wondered, they're probably counting Clark, Lana, Pete.
Yes.
Johnny K, Martha K, Lois or Lana Lang.
Right.
Lex Luthor, Lionel Luthor.
I don't know who Claire Foster is. Let me do a quick Claire Foster, DC Comics. There's nothing interesting.
Yeah, also the Metropolis PD person, I think, is from the comics too.
Right. Okay. At the conclusion of this episode, Walking in Memphis by Lone Star can be heard playing as Perry boards the bus. This song references Elvis Presley, who was Perry White's hero in Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman.
No,
I don't know.
No,
yeah.
No, not intentional.
Yeah.
No. That's a stretch of the episode.
As this week's episode aired, the sun really was experiencing large solar flares. That's a hell of a coincidence.
That's crazy.
That's
pretty cool.
That's pretty nuts.
It's interesting they had the Halloween episode. I mean, it wasn't a Halloween episode, but their spooky episode last week, and this episode was 2 days before Halloween.
Interesting. I wonder if they just timed it bad.
Yeah, maybe.
Something it ended up premiering a week earlier than somebody thought.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's what I would assume would happen. That's about it. That's aside from the fact that Michael McKean is married to Annette O'Toole. That seems like everything. Good episode.
Yeah, it was fun. Yep, we got 2 good ones in a row.
Yeah.
Let's keep this going, season 3.
Let's do it, season 3.
There was a line in the episode that they didn't mention in the wiki where Michael McKean talks about a Google search. I didn't know Google was around in 2003. When did Google...
I think it certainly was around. It's just it was a Yahoo competitor, or maybe it was the very beginnings of Google becoming a verb.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it clearly was.
Right. Yes. I didn't know about it.
Interesting.
I'm busy using Ask Jeeves.
Oh, Ask Jeeves. All right, man. Anything else we got to go over? We ready to get out of here?
Let's get out of here. Let's skedaddle.
Yeah, this is the Talon Mix. It's a podcast. You can get it wherever your podcasts are. Also, we normally record this live Sunday nights at twitch.tv/GoblinVoice. 8 PT 11 EST. We have a chat room. We have a good time. come join us. If not, this new episodes are available on Fridays wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on Twitter at the Talon Mix Pod. So come follow us there. Also, hey, maybe rate this on your podcasting platform of choice. Maybe leave a review. We'd appreciate it. I got another show. It's called Brian and Eric Don't Belong Here. It's also wherever your podcasts are. We got a good couple of ones coming up. Go check it out. Zach, do you have a question for the Smallville gods?
Yes, Smallville gods. Are the hosts of the Talkville podcast listening to this right now?
Good night, everybody.